Hello beautiful people, welcome to the Canada Info channel. My name is Wolo. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant based in Manitoba, Canada. And I want to say a very big thank you to all of you for engaging on my last video. I saw your comments. Unfortunately, I couldn't respond to all of them, but I'm so grateful that you are so encouraging, and it has motivated me to it has given me energy. Yes, it has given me energy. So today's video is actually an analysis of the announcement made by the Minister for Immigration last week concerning international students. And I said I was going to do an analysis of that particular video so that I can share more insights, my own perspective, my own opinion about that particular announcement. And I'll be showing the video in bits so that I can analyze each point that was raised. So the first point that he raised had to do with the verification of admissions, that they are trying to set up something where they will be verifying admissions that have been given to international students before they give the approval of visas.
Starting by the end of the year, we're taking steps to prevent this type of fraud by introducing an enhanced system of actually verifying the letters of acceptance directly with post-secondary institutions for all overseas study permit applications. Canada is a major destination and a top destination for international students, thanks to our open, welcoming communities and high-quality educational institutions. Between January and August of this year, we've received over 608,000 study permit requests while processing over 600,000 of these in the same period. International students, as I mentioned, bring a lot to Canada, benefiting campus life and Canada's multicultural spirit in communities across the country. By being open to international students, we benefit from new ideas, ways of learning, and researching coming into our post-secondary system. And clearly, this movement of students to Canada brings with it significant economic advantages as well, with international students contributing well over $20 billion to our GDP annually.
If you are not aware, the reason why this is coming up is because of 700 Indian students who came into Canada with a fake admission letter, finished their program, and then applied for permanent residency. At the point of applying for PR, that was when the whole thing blew up. And some people were genuine, they didn't know, while some were not genuine. Now, my own take is this. If you get admission from anybody, if you didn't do the admission processing yourself, and you got admission offer from anybody, please verify from the institution you've gotten the admission from. That is my own advice. Even if you got the admission from me, I usually tell people who have engaged my services to also go ahead and verify from the institutions that they have gotten admission from, because you're saving yourself a lot of stress. You don't want to come to Canada, spend all that thousands of dollars trying to navigate the system, do postgraduate work permit, and then trying to apply for permanent residency, only to discover that your admission brought into Canada was a fake one, and then you now jeopardize the whole journey, jeopardize the whole process. So please take this from me. If you get admission from anybody, if you didn't do it yourself, please verify from the institution that the admission is a genuine admission offer, so that you save yourself all the drama about fake admission and all of that. The number two issue he raised has to do with recognized institution framework.
As we continue to review the international student program, I can also confirm that we'll move ahead with a new recognized institution framework. We've been actively engaged with stakeholders, including Sheridan College, post-secondary education associations, and learning institutions on this concept, and we'll continue to refine it. We plan to implement the recognized institution framework in time for the fall semester of 2024. The framework would recognize those institutions whose international students benefit from top-class services, housing, and other supports. Our goal here is to punish the bad actors, make sure that they are held accountable, and reward the good actors who provide adequate outcomes for the success of international students. Such institutions that are recognized could benefit from, for example, faster student permit application processing destined for the students destined to their school. And as we move towards implementing it next year, additional details will be shared to fully explain how institutions would become recognized and what benefits that would bring.
I do not feel comfortable about this, but they are the government. They can decide whatever they want. The reason why I say I do not feel comfortable about this is because it's creating a two-tier system of schooling. There is already a tier system in schooling, but it's now making it obvious. It's now putting it in everybody's face that if you don't get admission from so school, your visa application processing will not be concluded on time. They want to give priority to recognized institutions, people who get admission offers from recognized institutions, and process their visa applications on time. So let's say, for example, you get admission from University of Toronto, and Mr. Lagbaja gets admission from let's say Red River College. IRCC is saying that they will process the person who got admission from University of Toronto faster than the person who got admission from Red River College, which I feel is not nice. I mean, why create a system that is going to be how will I put it now, discriminatory? I don't know whether discriminatory is the right word. I don't think it is the right word, but I don't feel comfortable with this kind of system where you say, okay, go and get admission from this school. You get a decision on your visa application within 1 week. That is what it looks like to me. Like I said, it's my own comment. I don't know what they're going to do at the end of the day, but I don't like this kind of system where they want to, put one institution higher than the other. It is already there in the system. But the good thing about this whole thing is that it only has to do with visa application. When it comes to the workplace, Canada employers do not care. If you bring your degree from Harvard, they don't care about where your degree is coming from. If somebody from Red River College can communicate to the employer and communicate the value that they are bringing to the employer, they will hire the person from Red River College and hire the person that brought a qualification from Harvard. If IRCC is saying they want to do a recognized institution framework, well, good luck to them. So the next point that was raised has to do with no cap on international student visas.
I would also caution people who have demanded for a one-stop solution, that we put a cap on things, that we sort of bring down the hammer on an ecosystem that is rife with perverse incentives.
Of course, there won't be cap on international student visas. It's a cash cow for Canada, and if you're a business person, of course, you cannot plug where your money is coming from. It's not possible. There's no way Canada can cap international students, but there's a challenge. A lot of international students who came in from Africa, in quotes, a lot of them are unable to meet up with the demand of paying their tuition in full. So this will now result in, this is going to be my own opinion. At the end of the day, you can analyze it yourself, but this is my own opinion. There's going to be a systemic cap in the sense that they will look out for genuine candidates who have at least paid a deposit on their tuition or full tuition, which I always recommend. If you're coming to Canada, it's better to pay full tuition so that you don't stress yourself with figuring out how you can pay your tuition with the current currency fluctuations and exchange and all of that's currently going on, especially for those coming from Nigeria. It's very difficult to, gather such huge amount of money. So it's better to pay your tuition in full so that you know that when you're coming, you will not be under pressure to work 20 hours a week that would, fund your tuition, or at the end of the day, drop out of school. So for me, there might be a systemic cap. It's my own opinion. I'm saying this is not something that was announced, but this is my own opinion. There's going to be a systemic cap where they will be filtering out genuine people from people who are not genuine. So if you plan to come to study in Canada, just prepare to pay your tuition in full. So that way you will not be under pressure. You will not be under pressure to look for money to pay your tuition. You just focus on your education, finish your program, and then work towards getting your PGWP and then applying for PR. So that is my own opinion with this cap thing. Of course, they can't cap international students, but there might be some things they will put out. They have already started doing it where if you put money in your account, they will say it's for demonstration purposes. Before, I know of one of my clients, she didn't even show any. She didn't pay any tuition. That was before. That was in 2021. She didn't pay any tuition fee. She just paid only her $500 deposit acceptance fee, and then showed the money she had, and that was it. They approved her visa. But today, even if you show that you've paid deposits, you show that you have lump sum in your account, there's a high likelihood of the visa being refused with some of these flimsy excuses that they come up with. So this is my own take, that there's going to be a systemic capping to filter out people who are genuinely coming to study from people who are not genuinely coming to study in Canada. So that's my take on this particular point. So the next point has to do with reforms to the postgraduate work permit.
We also want to signal our plans to introduce reforms to the post-graduation work permit program. We know that there is an arc to this. People don't just come to the country to study and necessarily to leave. Some do, but we know that this is also a pathway to permanent residency and Canadian citizenship eventually, but it has to go through a program that makes sure that we are incentivizing the trades that are in such great need in this country. We have a
If you are of certain age, if you are above certain age brackets, please, do not bother going to certain provinces that do not have pathways for you to become permanent residents. The first thing you should do, if you are matured, if you are above 40 and above, if you are matured, first thing you should do is check which province can help you transition to PR. Check their website, check the provincial nomination website. If it is Manitoba you're coming to study, check Manitoba provincial nomination website. If it is Ontario you're going to study, check Ontario provincial nomination website. If it is Saskatchewan, check. If it is New Brunswick, check. If it is British Columbia, check. Check these provinces and see which pathway aligns with your age. If you are below 40 or below 35 and 30, you can decide to go wherever you want to go to. But if you are above 40, if you're 40 and above, please avoid certain provinces, except you're coming for a PhD. For instance, if you're coming for a PhD and you want to go to Ontario, fine. But of course, PhD is going to take about 4 years for you to finish your program. If you go to Ontario, fine, you can go to Ontario for your PhD because there's a PhD stream. If you're going to British Columbia, you can go to British Columbia because there's a direct stream where you can apply for provincial nomination after you graduate. You don't need a job offer for that. But if you know you don't fall into this category of people going for a PhD, which is a 4 years program, please do your checks first before you choose a province where you go to study. It will help you to save you a lot of stress. Yes, they are trying to incentivize some occupations that will lead to PR. People who come to study a particular program, those are the people that they will prioritize. They've already started it. There's this category-based draw that they've started choosing occupations that they feel Canada needs, not just random term occupation that everybody is shouting, So if you feel that you fall into the occupation that is in demand, then you are safe. But if you don't fall into the occupation that is in demand, try to look for an occupation that aligns with the occupation that is in demand, so that you'll be among the people that will meet the labor shortages that will also have a pathway to becoming a permanent resident. So they are still, this thing that I talked about is actually still in the works. They are still planning about it, but this is my own opinion and this is my own advice, that if you are of certain age bracket, it's either you look for an occupation that is in demand to come study, or you move to a province that is more favorable for you to transition to permanent residency through provincial nomination or through any of the immigration pathways, so that you save yourself the headache of figuring out how you can become a permanent resident after you finished your program in Canada. So this is my own take on the minister's announcement. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, please put it in the comment section and I'll try to respond whenever I am free. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye bye.